Hey guys, I'm back to do a little more of an intensive review on a haul I just did recently and from Sephora.com, and mainly the focus I'm going to talk about is masks because I got like 2 or 3 of them and then a nice deluxe sample that I'm going to be talking about. So the one that isn't going to show that well is the Wen mask because I actually would have to apply a whole a sheet to my face, leave it on for 20 to 30 minutes and then tell you about that. And I don't want to open another package just to open it, so you might not see that one in action. I can talk a little about that one in another video, but what I'm really going to be talking about now are the clay-based masks first. So I got 2 of them from my haul. I got the Miracle Skin Transformer Miracle Revealing Mud, as well as Whey Golden Root Purifying Mud Mask. So these are nice comparisons for each other because they're both from 2 superpower countries in the whole world. We've got China and we've got USA. Okay, so I'm going to show you both of them, the textures, show you on the hand how it works. I'm going to let it sit as long as possible so we can kind of do a direct comparison between the 2. For this one, you'll remember this is a kind of a little of a funky one because everything is in little ampules. So I'm going to crack open one and go into that, and then I'll scoop some of that out. So to tell you a little of the differences between them when they're drying, just so I can save a little time. Okay, so the way I really love this brush, it's similar to a foundation brush. I would definitely say it has a lot more of a light feel to it. It's definitely, though I probably could use this for makeup, I might actually just keep this especially for masks and things like that, because I've used it for other masks other than the Whey mask and it seemed to be very nice. So there's that one on to start with, and I'm going to go these kind of step by step how the companies would have me apply it. So the next one I'm going to jump into is the Transformer Skin, and this one you can see it's spongy, it's kind of gushy, so that's kind of fun, and it has little bits in it. It doesn't really come off as like any texture at all, so it's not a gritty scrub. Like I said, when I first got it I thought, hey, this would be a nice comparative to Glam Glow, which I love, but this is really not a Glam Glow product at all. It's a completely different type of mask. So there they are, and I'll tell you a little about the companies, a little about what's going on while those are drying. So Whey is, like I said, is a Chinese one. The base for both of the clay masks is kaolin clay, sometimes known as China clay. Can actually have several colors into it. As you can see, kaolin isn't the only thing in these masks. So Whey using golden root, they've got a cocktail of a few different oriental plants and herbs, juju fruit, green tea, which everyone has in there, and rhodiola rosa, angelica, actobolea root extract, and a bunch of other ones, chrysanthemum, a few other really great. And now the key of this purifying mud mask is that it's working to balance the skin's chi, because as the company says, beauty is balance. Balance is when yin and yang exist in harmony. Harmony creates Zen, and Zen is beautiful. So this one is helping to cleanse and purify the skin, to clear the way and open the energy paths, open the energy flow. So this one can be used by any skin type, any type of concern. Now this one, you'll notice the red color. I'm going to assume it's partly from the plant extracts. Also, it's got a magnesium aluminum silicate suspension in there, and a lot of iron oxides. Iron oxide would give that red color on its own. It's the last ingredient in the list, but I'm figuring it's probably the one coloring it the most. It kind of has a nice terracotta color. When I put it on, I really think that it's a nice tint. Like I almost want to go tan sometimes because it actually gives a really nice rich hue. So that's that one, and no smell at all to this one. I mean, when it's going on a little, you can smell a little slight herbal impression, but it's not so much. So that's the Whey Golden Root. Like I said, there's a whole line from Whey, which I'm not going to get. They probably have a mask for several different types of kind of energizing yin-yang treatments. I don't really go so much in for that stuff, but I do go in for clay masks pretty big time. So the second one was the Miracle Skin Transformer Miracle Revival Mud. So this one, Sarah McNamara, who is the creator and founder of the company, wanted to create a 15 minutes revival mask with bioactive silt from European spring-fed lakes, as well as green tea, mushroom, and beta-glucan resurrection plant, a few other extracts in there. So this is for hydration, elasticity, and firmness as well. So this could be considered, while the other one's a very balancing, purifying clay, this one is definitely, you would consider as more of an anti-aging or energizing type clay. And definitely between the two, it does feel cooler on my skin right now. Now, this one, like I said, it's a clay base, like the kaolin clay, but also featuring strongly is the bentonite clay. Bentonite is a volcanic clay, typically called Mount Morillanite or something like that. So those ones definitely, they're really purifying, but because of the cocktail of the other plant ingredients in there, this one's going to come off a little more hydrating. And the key ingredient, she was talking about silts. Now, silt is kind of a catch-all term. There's actually many different kind of terms for silt, but it's basically the minerals that aren't part of mud, but they kind of suspend in fluids. Can be called rock flour, stone dust. Typically, you're going to find silts comprised of quartz or feldspar, apparently. So there you go. So there's going to be a lot of quartz and other kind of mineral ingredients mixed in with the plant extracts there. Like I say, that one's still, this one's setting pretty well. That one's still pretty tacky though. And I say definitely a cooler feeling. We'll compare my hands side to side to see if we see any purifying, firming benefit, that sort of thing. But definitely those two I wanted to give a jump at. And also I want to talk a little about the Peter Thomas Roth. Now the full size is, this is a 15 mil, so the full size I think is a 50, like 50 milliliters. And this is a peeling gel. So I'm going to try to show you this one so you can see it. So you can see it's a very watery gel. Spread it on, it almost is like a serum, but as soon as I start rolling it and rubbing it, you're going to notice it starts to gum up a little. And as this one is doing, it's really going to lift off dead surface skin. I shouldn't have done this hand because actually I've got a cut from something. But it's going to roll off dead surface skin, any pollution, and really going to help to take off any crud I have. So it's kind of gross what's coming off here because my hands are clean before this. So it's nice to see that there's a lot coming off. So I think that's a kind of a nice one if you need a payoff. If you're a kind of person who doesn't do masks, or you know someone who doesn't really do them unless they can see a result or they know something's happening, this would be a good one because you're going to be able to feel clean. So let me just wipe that off. Kind of all the stuff rolls off. So this would be a good one to do, say, not in your living room, but maybe in the shower, over the sink, something like that. So I'm going to let that dry and give it a feel for a comparison on my hand. And I've left that one on for a while. You guys have been pretty patient, so I'm just going to wash off the rest of the mask. And I always find the best way to take off a clay mask is not to rub like crazy, but it's good to saturate a cloth, kind of press down, and then when you lift, most of it will be gone. So there we go. Both hands nice and clean and fresh. Definitely instantly, I don't know if you can see it from here, but I'm seeing a lot brightness in this side already, which is pretty cool. So the peeling one definitely works to smooth, and my skin does feel really velvety, like really hydrated, really plumped and quenched. So that's kind of rare in an exfoliation to feel so good after and not being stripped and dried out. And definitely I'm trying to feel a difference here. And I guess I do feel that this one is a little more moist on this side. So this was the Skin Transformer side. Definitely feel a little more moist, not as silky and soft obviously as my exfoliated hand. This one feels a little more toned, a little more tightened, which would be pretty good because it's a purifying mask. So purifying, that's a code word. It's good for people who have a little oiliness, or they're concerned about large pores, or they just want detox for the skin, because it definitely feels a little more toned and tightened. That being said, I definitely would want to, if this was my face, I'd want to put on my serum, my moisturizer as a next step after any of these treatments. Definitely sunscreen all day, every day, but especially after exfoliation. So there you go. There's 3 masks and 3 different ways to use them, and we'll talk more in a bit.